buzzer go off, the crowd are ready. We've got absolutely jam-packed stand. And some of the biggest names in skateboarding are out here. Some absolute powerhouses. Yo, he's got it done.
Oh, let's get it.
It's the fact that everyone from around the world gets to come and skate this event. And to win or to do really well in an event like this means a lot because you're striving to be one of the best skaters in the world. I don't think anyone here is striving to be any less than that.
The best feeling when you can hear everyone screaming because you've known that you've done the best you can.
Oh my goodness, on the edge of my seat.
Oh, the buzzer!
There we go.
Getting it done, out onto that railing. Oh, changing it up.
To do it under pressure, when obviously it's a really big moment.
Wow, Nylasso. And he's saying, what do you think of that, Rome? Coming through. I don't know. Good afternoon and welcome back to OSTIA Rome for the first World Cup event of 2025. I'm Mark Churchill and joining me on commentary today is the multi-medal winner and trick pioneer, Mitchie Briscoe.
Thank you, Mr. Churchill. I am so excited to be here today.
Yeah, I'm so hyped to be back in Ostia. Now, what are your expectations for today's competition, mate?
Man, I gotta talk about Tommy Calvert. I skate with him pretty often back in SoCal, and man, he has improved so much in the last year.
But you were saying earlier, this is the best you've ever seen him skate, right?
Oh man, he really turned a corner in the quarterfinals, and he put down runs that I've never seen him do.
So other than Tommy, we've got some new names making it through to semifinals.
Including 2 Italians in the field, competing in Ostia.
But this is Guy's first semifinals in Park, right?
Yep, and although Guy has less experience, he is immediately a contender. And this is because he can spin and flip his board better than anyone.
But the rest of the heat is very stacked.
Oh, I mean, just off the top of my head, you look at Victor, Hampus, Steven Pinero, you cannot take your eyes off the screen.
And we've seen over 180 competitors from 51 different countries in the bowl, including the World Skateboarding Ranking Top 8. Who's leading the charge, though, Mitchie?
You know what? I'm just going to tell you everything you need to know about Tate Carew. He has never missed a final. Even when he is sketchy, he's clean. I can't explain it. You watch him skate. Sometimes his front wheels are floating around while he's on flat bottom.
And also the Danish dynamite, Victor Solmundi, on an upward trajectory with a couple of podiums boosting his score. I mean, he is the force to be reckoned with out here in Ostia. But Augusto Akio is in the mix as well.
All these guys are incredibly talented, but Augusto's tech skills and unique lines are insane. He stumbled his way through quarterfinals, so he will have to step it up a little bit from what we saw yesterday to get to tomorrow.
But there are 2 things to be aware of. Number 1, the World Skateboarding Ranking wasn't reset after the Olympic Games. It carries on as a rolling ranking. So what does that mean? In the case of Park World Cup events, an athlete's 3 best results within an 18-month window determine the overall points and position on the leaderboard. If we take a look at Jagger Eaton, for example, he's only got 2 events on the board and will be missing this event and will fall further down the list as he is injured.
And Jagger's out today because he had ankle surgery 3 months ago and isn't quite ready to compete yet.
And moving on to the second point, each country can register a maximum of 3 athletes to a World Cup event. On top of that, all athletes in the top 30 are pre-registered with a restriction of a maximum of 6 skaters per country. So looking at Team Brazil, that means Augusto Akio through to Pedro Carvalho are in. And Luis Mariano, who is also in the top 30, was nominated by the National Federation to be here today. But all of that info and the heat out here is melting my brain. But if you need to take a closer look, check out the WorldSkate website. Great conditions out here in OSTIA. As you can see, blue skies and the sun is shining for our men's semi-final heat 1. Let's take a look who is in our start list.
And some guys to keep an eye on in this heat. We have Igor Bihueska. He has an opportunity to put down an NBD in a park contest. Also, Guy Curry, make sure you keep a close eye on him.
Okay, we're gearing up for getting down. Heat number 1 and our first athlete of our men's semi-finals here in OSTIA. You can hear the crowd are really banging their feet. They are super hyped, as are we in the booth.
They are already into it. You might be able to hear the crowd through our headsets right now.
So, Pedro Carvalho, 20 years of age, goofy stance, so right foot forward. Average finish, 20th. And starting up on the deep end, far side of our huge park out here in OSTIA.
He's going first, and that means he qualified in 16th place.
Wow,
he's starting
there's a way to start.
Huge nose grab 5 over the entire love seat. It's so hard to do that on the small quarter pipe.
Nearly slipped out backwards, but showing that core strength to be able to stand back up on there. Getting the heel flip Indy, now bringing it back over the love seat.
I
Look at
love that
tail
so
slide.
much. Being able to ollie off the end of that tail slide takes an incredible amount of skill.
Following up with a huge frontside Smith, and now sitting on that backside Smith.
Nobody stands on backside Smiths like Pedro.
Heel flip frontside air. This is looking really good for first run.
He is ticking all the boxes.
Barrel
One
flip
more
Indy,
trick.
and he's just saying, yeah, that's enough for me. I'm not going to try and get another one in there, but there is room to get that last trick in,
There was
I
room
think.
to get one more, but I think that's the run he planned. And honestly, those last 2 tricks happened so fast that maybe he just got through his run a little bit quicker than he was in practice.
So starting it off, nose grab 5. That thing's like 6 meters
that
coping to coping.
Foot adjustment, the front foot adjustment at the last second saved his life.
Heel flip Indy on that wall. And then
Standing all your weight on that back, the ball of your back foot all the way through. It's like a 10-tile back Smith.
And I think Pedro knows that he's on that Brazilian bubble at the moment, trying to get pre-registered in the world skateboarding ranking. So this is the score that's going to set the tone. It's going to show the rest of the riders how the judges are feeling about such a beastly first run from Pedro. 85 straight, huge score. He's hyped. And so is everyone else in Team Brazil right now.
He knows that he had to step it up from quarterfinals. He was in 16th place, and I think he put down a really good run. So he was like, screw it, I'm going to just go for the win.
So on to the next of our Brazilians.
World
Augusto
Skateboarding ranking number 1.
And I hope we're going to see why that is right now. Struggled to get through as comfortable as he usually does, and looking really good in practice.
Also starting with a 540 on the small quarter pipe over the love seat. Huge heel flip frontside air. We didn't see this Augusto yesterday. It's like he woke up.
Oh,
that
no
really
way.
hurt.
Missing the foot on the backside 360. That was a heavy fall from Augusto. We'll get our amazing medical team to give him a check out. He's in very safe hands.
That can hurt a rib. That can knock the wind out of you.
He's saying he's all good.
I think this is where you just do a systems check and you see really how bad it is. You won't know right away with all the adrenaline. So waving to the crowd is a nice way to hide, like, hey, I'm asking myself if I just broke a rib or not.
Yeah. Let's check with a wave. He's making his way back out onto the platform, 20.93.
That is the risk of not grabbing when you're doing a back 3, is your back foot can move around. And if you can see, his back foot just planted on the ground instead of the grip tape. And, you know, that's the difference between 1 inch of back foot movement.
Okay, Igor Bihueska, run number 1 of 3. This young kid is absolutely smashing it at the moment and going from strength to strength. Really excited to see this first run. He looks like he's powering into a huge 5 to start things off.
He looked great last year, but he's really coming into his own and has this next level of power that is just unreal.
Ollie in the channel, not just over, but onto the corner.
Big kickflip Indy to a stalefish 5, and both of those were minorly alley-oop, which is very interesting.
That blunt slide is so good. Doesn't just go in off the hip, he clears over to the next extension.
He struggled with that big time last year. Wow. I don't even know what that's called. Alley-oop 270, kickflip stalefish body barrel.
Whoa, you're looking at me. Did the backside tailslide shove it through the deep end corner?
Goitz is next level right now.
Oh, and we're looking at possibly seeing an NBD.
That would
720.
Be the first 720 ever done in a World Skate Park contest. And honestly, Bihuesca is asking for a lot of himself with all those tricks in one run.
So many tricks, but do you know what? Everyone in this heat and the next has just gone, whoa. All their ears have pricked up and gone, wait a minute, this is a finals run this early.
This is a legitimate finals run. I don't think there was anything left on the table for him to add. I cannot believe he tried the 7 in this run first go. I feel like you get that far, it's like get your 89 down and move along to finals.
To get that out of the way this early in the competition, that would leave him a lot of breathing room, right?
Yeah, so he's left himself with a lot of pressure now in run 2 and 3 just because he has so many hard tech tricks all the way through.
77.76 with a score down for the full and an incomplete run. That is going to be big.
That's a huge score that he's got a chance for.
Guillermo Marin up next, qualified through to quarterfinals in that first place position. Straight in, heel flip frontside air to start things off.
You know, this beginning of this semifinal is really setting the tone for what we're expecting. These are just finals runs.
Yeah, everyone looks like they're going blow for blow right now. They're like, okay, you got the 5 over there. That's what I've got.
It seems like everyone is just telling each other, hey, you can't play it safe. We're going to just go for it. This is what we're doing now.
Missing that frontside blunt slide. He's got that so down as well. You can see he's got that disappointment, but first time getting through to semis, you know, there's some lessons learned when you get this far in the competition.
And jumping from, say, 14th place to 8th place is a huge difference.
62.07 with a fall, and not really getting that far through that run either.
No, he really wants to at least give himself a chance to make your last trick. It's heartbreaking to fall on your last trick, but it's important to get there.
So, Guy Curry, we know what this kid is capable of, right?
Well,
can he contain it into a bowl, though?
Sort of. There are some things we don't know about Guy when it comes to bowl skating. We know he can spin and flip his board, but we want to see these grinds through the corners and the use of park.
I mean, he's got so much speed heading into the tail grab 540. We have seen so many variations so early on.
Everyone is starting with a big trick over that love seat.
Boom.
Big varial flip Indy, and Guy can flip his board and spin. For example, kick flip 540. He has those better than anyone.
I mean, you've competed against him. What is he like as a competitor? Because it looks like he's not holding back.
He is an animal. Competing against Guy will bring out your best skating every time.
Yeah, he's definitely answering to the questions that have been
Hopping
asked
out of the ball onto a 540 on the miniature quarter pipe on the deck, and he did not get to that Indy 3 in time, but it was big and floaty. I wonder what the judges are going to think of that.
Have you seen that 540 in practice?
I have not seen the 540. I heard rumors that he was going to be doing that on the small quarter pipe in the deck, but I had not seen it yet.
Backside 360 was out of time. What's he going to have to do to speed up that run to get that in?
I don't know if that run fits. It seemed like he was 2 seconds off. So that's like, you can't take out the tail grab 5 at the start of your run.
And you can't really speed up this either.
No, I think he needs to replace the deep end trick with a volcano trick.
I think he went a little bit off piece there.
Yeah.
Because that would account for the trick not being in time. I mean, it's going to be big anyway. Like, that was explosive.
It's going to be a great score no matter what. Kickflip 540, varial flip Indy, 540 on the thing that no one else touches.
I mean, that thing's whippy. It's really steep.
Really
Maybe that helps, though.
Great skating from Guy. I'm very interested.
81.58. So, how would that change getting the backside 360 on time?
Well,
I know he can't get it in there, but...
Well, I seriously think he's going to have to do a trick on the volcano or into the bank to get it in time. Or take out the 540 on the small quarter pipe. Since Guy already has multiple 540s in his run, I think a 360 is more valuable than another 540.
Okay, Victor Solmunde coming through front side, slapping that naughty coping on the way in.
Showing so much control touching the coping on the way in.
Big back 5 in the deep end. Look how much speed he's got for that backside tail slide.
Back tail over the volcano compared to like a back Smith is a big difference.
Huge tail grab 540.
Straight into
two
a lip
fives in
slide.
already from feeble. He's doing the extension over the hip.
He's doing tricks. Yes, other people have back tails and front feebles, but he's doing them in harder places than other people.
Yeah, completely different line there with the nose bone as well. Oh, I'm missing the backside nose blunt. He would have just about had enough time to get into the deep end,
It
I
looked
think.
like he was going to do back nose blunt, backside revert, carve around the volcano, switch, and hit a fakie trick in the deep end.
Just showing his hand a little bit there. Looking very focused. Not
That's
really
what I
out
was
of breath
just
either.
thinking. Yep, it looks like it was just maybe a mistake of speed control coming over the volcano. Could have just been simple adrenaline rush.
So cut-off point last year for finals was up mid-80s, 85 and change. I think we're going to be seeing that similar.
I think we'll see something similar to that. He too's very strong.
Okay, Soya Inomata dropping in Team Japan.
The only Japanese rider in Heat 1.
Yeah, good to see him backing up Euro. Usually he's the sole Japanese rider in our men's competition. Well, certainly at this point, taking a different line, ollieing into that corner pocket. Look at that speed through to a huge 540.
Massive and clean. A little bit reminds me of that snowboard style.
And this is his first semi-finals as well. We mentioned there's a stack of new names getting through.
Oh, I love
Lovely.
how long he waited to grab the tail after popping. That shows a lot of control.
Oh, it's sneaking in the varial flip Indy.
Doing flip tricks in 540s on small quarter pipes is actually harder than doing them on big quarter pipes.
Body varial 5.
Straight
that
into
was a lovely ollie.
ollie on a really nice line over the volcano.
Use the sky hooks to float then. Blindside Indy, fakie 7 stale. Wow.
Came out of nowhere, and that is officially the first 720 ever done in a World Skate Park contest.
First time in semi-finals and first person to bung a fakie 7. Not only any fakie 7, a stalefish one.
Out of an Indy to fakie over blindside over the hip into the deep end.
So hard to do that trick and land with enough speed to spin the fakie 7.
I can't believe he chose the sidewall to do that. That was genius.
But sneaking in tricks where other people are carving on just doing an ollie is really clever, but dangerous.
Look, he's not missing a single beat in this entire run. He's got the flip tricks, the 5s, the 7s, the lines, the style.
Look at the way he dipped his head, looking over his shoulder. Crouched it out, but I don't think that's going to hurt the score at all.
At this point, you just did the first 7. However you can get it down is good. Let's see what this score is.
Wow. Yeah. Reel it in. Enjoy this moment, Sawyer. Well, I can't call it. I don't know where the judge is going to go on this. They have to reward an MBD.
They're going to go
really
high on this. I believe this is a first place run. It's just how much room do you want to give him between him and Pedro Carvalho.
85 is the score on the board to beat. It's silent out in the stands whilst we wait for that score to come through.
Yeah, nobody knows what to do. A Stalefish 7 just came out of nowhere. I didn't see him do that in practice. I didn't expect it in his run. That is a big left hook from Soya.
90.16 highest score of the competition so far. Soya Inomata really setting the standard on run number 1.
Giving a lot of room between him and Pedro, which I believe the judges know that the second heat is going to sit a lot between that first and second spot.
Okay, Tommy Calvert gearing up for run number 1 of 3, starting in that new position. We saw him needing to gain a few seconds, so he had to change up his run to be able to get the last couple of tricks in. Huge indie oop to start things off.
Very impressive that he was able to change the start of his run between quarterfinals and the semifinals.
I spoke to him earlier, and he's absolutely stoked to get through to this point of the competition, and he really has deserved to get through.
He was so happy yesterday with his run. Ollie 540.
Do you think, after watching what just happened, that's got in his head? Because it looked like he just went a little bit too far and landed too high up on the bank.
I think he wanted to play it a little too safe. I think he's using his quarterfinal strategy. And really, for Tommy to be new in this situation, he's going to have to use his finals strategy. Start with your heel flip, do your Ollie 5, and just go for it.
Yeah, I mean, to get through to this level is impressive, but I would love to see him go through to that top 8 in our finals.
Yep, he did his best run he's ever done and wasn't quite in the top 8 yet, so he's going to have to really give it.
So 39.36 for Tommy as we move back to Brazil. Pedro Carvalho.
Started running
85.
Really quickly. He was like walking and then he just sprinted. Judo 540, which means that after you grab it, you take 1 foot off while you're spinning.
So 2 flip grabs. He had that varial flip, indie. Heel flip indie. Wow, so much control on the longest frontside tail slide you're going to see this week.
In the middle of that frontside tail slide.
Frontside Smith grind and running out of coping. Oh, backside Smith, but staying in control. It won't be a bail yet.
You know, I'm not happy that he missed one of those back Smiths, but for the viewers at home to just know how hard it is to stand on it, you can miss on either side. You can be too much on the deck very easily, and he walks that line so close.
Well, that line is so fine. If you stay in the ramp too much, you can't grind long enough. If you're on the platform too much, you see exactly what happened where he jumped out onto the platform.
Here's the Judo 5, and next we'll probably see the heel flip indie. Watch after he grabs the heel flip indie, watch his feet float in the air for a little bit. That just shows how much control you really have.
Folding that varial flip indie onto his feet.
Right here, after the grab, there's this little pause, and that will help your consistency because you can make your heel flips from a lot of different places.
So 51.99, staying with that first run score of 85. I think we might be losing our voices by the end of this competition, mate. The level is so high, and we always say it, we're seeing like finals skating to get through to the final.
This is what the judges are saying.
It's never been truer.
Even the lower scores are higher than they used to be. We got higher highs and higher lows throughout this whole contest.
So Augusto Akio, yet to make a full run, fell off on the backside 360. Going to look to not make that mistake again.
But he looked a lot better at the beginning of this run than any time at all yesterday. I think he just has a hurt ribcage now.
Yeah.
It looked bruised immediately, so that thing is probably fired up right now.
It was a heavy slam, and that is what skateboarding's all about. You're either injured, getting over an injury, or setting up for a new one, especially at this level. I want to see that third run come through. You know he can do it. He's got to just forget that it happened, and that's a hard thing to do. There's a mental game that we haven't really touched on yet.
If there's anyone who can put down his third and final run, it's Augusto, and I think the fact that he has so much fun really helps him.
Yeah. Okay, Igoit's coming in for run number 2. 77.76. Rolling in. really pumping down that waterfall for a huge melon 5. Crouched it out, though. Looked like he landed a little bit low.
He got his speed back right away. Egoitz is trying to give Soya a run for his money in this first-place qualifier spot.
Kickflip Indy.
Really nice speed control going over that waterfall, being able to slow down just enough to keep the kickflip Indy consistent. And that backside blunt off the edge, he struggled with that a lot last year, and now he's doing it every single try.
Getting away from him. It's going to come down to that third and final run for Egoitz.
I actually think that that hard flip, stale fish, body varial, alley-oop into the deep end, it's not only the hardest trick to say, it's the hardest trick in his run by far because you have to be so precise.
63.95, staying with the 77.76. Yet to get that full run down, and could be the second person to get that fakie 7 done.
I think we have a good chance if Egoitz gets to the end of his run that we see another 7. Egoitz is young, and you can tell that he's really fired up. He reminds me of an younger Luis Mariano, who's calmed down a little bit and upped his consistency. But Egoitz is in a place where he's just got to get out there and prove himself and get into that top spot, and then I think he'll calm down a little.
One thing's for sure, the future of skateboarding is in safe hands with the likes of Egoitz.
No doubt about that.
Guglielmo up next, currently 6th place. Anyone who's not higher than an 85 is going to really struggle to get through. As we said, that get-through point, the bubble score was 85 and change last time
Heat 2 are circling in the water right now, ready to bite.
Looking like he's going to be chucking down his board and rolling in. Keep that speed going, actually ollieing in.
Yeah, nice little ollie to start the run. The Italians both ollieing in from there.
Yeah. Heel flip, frontside air to start things off. That's going to feel so good, traveling really far.
Kind of an awkward takeoff for that backside 5. Maybe a bit of a speed control issue.
There's the Monty grind. Kickflip Indy into
landed a bit low on the kickflip Indy, saves it straight into a kickflip melon, using the side of the waterfall to set up for the heel flip. Sorry, for the frontside lip slide.
So yet to see a full run from him as well.
But he got further in this run than last run. I think if he controls his landing spots, he'll save energy and he'll keep a more consistent rhythm throughout the run, which will unlock that frontside bullet slide.
So how important is it when you're training your run, you're getting your repetition in, you're planning it out, when something goes wrong, that muscle memory really springs into action, right?
Your speed control goes out the window. You might as well have just be doing the run for the first time ever.
Okay, currently in 3rd place.
He actually didn't have a whole lot of room to improve on his run trick-wise, so he's either going to have to put something completely new in here or change the end of his line.
So coming in off that big flat bank, powerful pump in around those corners, tail grab, 540 to start things off.
That lip slide through the corner in the deep end definitely can be a big improvement. That's something that comes from a big vert background and not a park background.
Wow. Getting the kickflip 5, struggling with the waterfall a little bit there.
It's that small transition coming to bite you.
Taking it back round and into the deep end, ollieing up to the front side nose grind.
No real change so far in this run compared to last. Now he's doing a different line to finish it. Good move. A kickflip Indy 540.
2 flip 540s. That's big time.
So, look, here's what just happened. He did a 540 on this small quarter pipe before. I said you might want to add a different trick opposed to just a 540. Doing a kickflip Indy 5 is not just a 540. That is a flip trick, and it's something that no one else in the entire contest is doing. So now he does 2 different flip tricks 5s, so you guys at home can expect a great bump in his score.
But kickflip Indy 5 is a special one, right?
It's especially hard. Anytime you do a kickflip without a body barrel in a 540, you are just leagues above the rest.
So 90.17 is the score to beat. That was Guy's second run. Still got another run to go, so he's going to get this score in, and it'll be really interesting to see where he goes.
I'm interested to see what the judges are going to say. You know, with this big vert background, that is why Guy got second there compared to Soya. Even though Guy's trick difficulty is probably a little bit higher, he doesn't quite have the same use of park or the lip tricks in the important spots.
But that also screams volumes for Soya's NBD.
Yes, yes. Soya really put it down.
Okay, Victor Solmundi needs to get a full rundown. This kid is powerful. He's got everything I like about skateboarding: the style, trick selection, and speed.
He just needs this run to see where he's at. He just needs that baseline so he knows what he needs to add.
Heel flip frontside air.
Great save on that frontside air. It seemed like he was a little far over his toes halfway through.
And look at the speed out of the deep end after the 5.
Straight to a long back tail on that flat wall. We measured that last year and it was like 6 meters wide.
Tail grab 5.
Trick.
Yeah, it is back to back. It's struggling to keep up. Front feeble off the extension over the hip. I really like that line. And then he changes it up here.
Super strong pump. And now here we have this backside nose blunt, back revert.
There it is.
Switch frontside carve. 2, 1, and this trick counts.
Oh!
Alley-oop. Fakie to fakie, Indy 540. Let's talk about this for a second. If you do a fakie to fakie 5, you can't see anything on your way in. If you go alley-oop, you are blind for what feels like an hour. You have no idea. You are landing it based on feel almost entirely.
Waiting for that coping to be envisioned.
And you have to lean back so far. You're sitting into the ramp and just waiting. And you see how his feet are a little bit off the board in the air. There's so much trust with that. That is insane.
Huge 540 in the deep end. And then we see this backside nose blunt, backside revert. There's a setup trick to come in backwards into the deep end. Fakie to fakie alley-oop in
that
5.
Little bit of traveling from right to left while spinning backside is almost like you'd consider that twice as hard as just going straight up or carving.
85.50 good enough for third place. But as we said earlier, if you're mid-85s, it's going to be tough to stay in that top 8.
Yeah, he is not safe by any means, but he's also in a very good spot. So I really wouldn't be complaining, but in his next run, I would like to see him add something very real.
Well, he's going to have to, for sure, as we move on to our current leader, Soya Inomata.
Big backside 5 on that face wall. I love how he starts his run with that.
Out to backside lip slide, keeping that speed going. Whoa, going double trouble.
Is that a double flip or what we call a samba flip, where you catch it and then flip it with your hand?
How much do you think that would have changed the 90.16?
Not very much. There is so much left in your run, and if your execution goes down at all, it sort of doesn't matter what kind of tricks you add. That's about as good as Soya can do in this semifinal.
So just maybe using that time in these next 2 runs to feel out what's possible and what feels good.
I would be thinking about tomorrow and maybe that golden run opportunity where you can start your run with something really hard.
But let's remember who's coming up in heat number 2. Danny Leon, Luis Mariano, Yuro Nagahara, and Alessandro Mazzara, first place qualifier.
Nobody to sleep on in heat 2.
So run number 2 for Tommy Calvert. Alley-oop Indy getting away from him. We know he can flip that, and we're going to have to see that for run number 3, right?
There's
Pressure's
something
on.
that happens when you know your run is good, but it's not quite good enough for what you want. You get stuck between committing and not committing, and do I try a heel flip or do I just play it safer? And I think he just needs to let this fly. He's further than he's ever gotten, and he should just enjoy it and try to do whatever you can to just make finals.
And checking out who's coming up in heat number 2, there is a high chance that everyone in heat number 3 might not get through. You know, that's how good that heat is.
Number 1 might not get through. If you look at heat 2, they qualified in the top 8, so they all have the ability to just drop 85s, 86s, 90s.
Interestingly, Pedro Barros watching from the sidelines, not making it through to semi-finals.
Do not see that very much, and that's cool to see Pedro out here supporting after a tough miss.
Okay, back to the top of the heat and into third and final runs. Pedro Carvalho currently keeping that 85 points from run number 1.
He's very relaxed, and then he just starts sprinting.
Yeah, just sprints onto his board, ollieing out onto that straight wall, kicking that front foot off again.
Judo on that first 540, straight into a varial flip in the deep end.
Heel flip Indy, really pumping hard through that corner. Big front tail.
I think we're going to need to see a new trick to see a placement change.
Big front Smith, holding on with the toenails right there. Back Smith, not making the same mistake as we saw in run number 2.
Not at all. 10 tiles deep on the front, on the back Smith.
Heel flip frontside air across that gap hip. Taking it back into the deep end. Whoa! That was a doubling it this time.
Double varial flip.
As surprised as we are. Where did that come from?
I've never seen that in all my life. I didn't even ever think about that trick as a possibility.
Yeah. Well, I've never even seen him try that. That was pretty messed up.
So remember we were talking about the pause in his feet after he grabs the heel flip. So you know he's comfortable in the air. That is where the double flip comes into play. When you do a varial double flip, you have to just wait while that board is flipping and read it and then react to it. You're not grabbing it based on habit or timing. You're grabbing it with your athleticism and your patience.
That Judo 5 was way more extended this time. There we got the single version, varial flip Indy into the deep end. Heel flip Indy like you were talking about. And then that back Smith, look at that back toe holding the wheel pinched against the coping.
If you Google back Smith, that's the one that should come up. And there's that double flip, just waiting, being so patient. And I like that he stood up on it. There was a lot of belief in that, even though it sort of wasn't there.
So crazy. So crazy. Pedro absolutely hyped. Let's see what those judges are going to be throwing
They're
in.
in a very tough spot.
So, put you on the spot. Same trick twice, but with a different variation in the flip.
It might as well be a completely different trick, and it's such a surprise that I think the judges are just going to treat it like it was brand new. It's going to be right around Guy's score, I believe.
Well, he's going to want to improve on the 85, that's for sure.
And he just did.
Last year.
There's no doubt that he just improved on his score. Definitely give himself a little bit more breathing room when Heat 2 comes in.
85.85. He's looking a bit shocked on that.
He's looking shocked. If I was down there with him, I'd tell him, hey, you gave up on your run when you had 3 seconds left. You have another wall.
Yeah, maybe that's what they're saying.
Do a back 50-50 and ollie into the shallow end.
Yeah, or just a backside caster, just something. Finish it off.
When your arms are in the air and you still have time left on the clock, the judges are going to talk about that.
Okay, Augusto Akio back in, currently in 8th. That's a dangerous place to be. Melon 5 just sending it into the crowd. Someone's going home with a new setup. He's saying thank you very much. Sometimes it is too much of an ask to come away from such a harsh slam, right?
And you see both of the winners from last year, Augusto and Raika, coming in the semifinals and missing finals.
And proving that he can juggle absolutely anything. Augusto Akio, nothing but a showman.
And when you look at him and he seems like he's not too bothered by missing, he really understands that this is a part of skateboarding. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but it's the same Augusto every time.
Yeah, always smiling. It's great to see.
I think that slam really knocked him back. I think he was feeling really good before that. It's unfortunate.
So, third and final run for Igoitz. We're yet to see that full run. We know he can put something little special in there.
It's a very, very, very high-pressure situation. This is arguably higher pressure than Igoitz will feel if he makes finals tomorrow.
For sure.
This right here is where it matters.
He landed back truck on the cope in there. I do not know how he got away with that.
There is no giving up in Igoitz.
Full commitment out to back lip.
Really nice pop. His run comes down to this situation right here. This is his hardest trick with the alley-oop, hard flip, Indy around the corner.
Back tail shove on the 10-second mark.
Shove it, and he has to finish this run. He has to survive.
Varial flip Indy.
I want to see him
coming
make
in.
this last trick,
This is
and
going to be
he is
on
okay.
time. Yes, getting it done. Fakey 7. Two times we've seen that in our semi-finals. I can't believe what we're seeing, Mitchie.
I just got completely, the hair on my skin
Same.
shot in the
Same.
air when he did that. I thought he was going to play it a little bit safer with the 7, and he stands it up strong, pumped into a 360 over the volcano. Look, the 360 was out of time, but that doesn't matter because if you land a 7 with enough speed to do another trick, that means your execution was perfect.
Yeah.
That means the judges are probably having the same reaction as us.
Yeah, and you know what? I heard someone scream as he landed that 7, and that, like, just sent me into a frenzy. Like you said, hair's standing up on the back of my neck, but throwing in such a technical coping trick, along with all the flip grabs and the spins, this is gonna be huge.
When you look at Keegan Palmer, Olympic gold medalist, Goitz is kind of showing that same type of skill and energy in the bowl. I mean, this is nothing to joke about.
He tucked himself up into a little ball on that fakey 7 then, and it really worked out for him.
And I admire him for doing the same run that he's going to do tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if he puts something else on there, that's going to be so bonkers.
I don't even know where there's room.
But have we seen everything he's got to offer? I don't know. Every time I see him skate, he's learned 4 or 5 more tricks.
It's amazing to watch, truly.
So 90.16 the score to beat. Yeah, it could be up there.
Oh, this is right around that first place position. There is no doubt about it.
Oh, it's way up there. 95.83. He can't believe it. Alain Goikacek giving him a hug, and rightly so. That is a huge score for Goitz out of Spain.
95. It's well deserved. He's sort of in a league of his own when it comes to this first heat, and that's crazy to say with how good the skating is.
Mitchie, that's one of the highest scores we've ever seen.
That's what I was just thinking. I wonder what the actual highest score ever is.
Just to remind you, this is semi-finals.
Not for Goitz.
Number 1.
This is to prove a point.
Yeah.
You guys are in semi-finals. I'm here to put my foot down.
Yeah. I mean, he's done enough. If he goes home tomorrow morning, he's done enough. So, Guillermo Marin, run 3 of 3, 62.07, 66.50 best score. He needs a full run.
And I just want to see him as a home countryman.
Yeah.
Put down his run, pop out on the deck, and just soak it in.
Heel flip, frontside air to start it off. Big backside 5. Flying out of that deep end and back over the bridge. The love seat. Whoa!
That
he did
is
well to
so
stay on.
new. Backside blunt slide over the entire love seat.
Kick flip melon, that kick flip backside air. Out to front lip. Oh, that frontside blunt slide has been his kryptonite on this one.
I wonder how he was feeling on that in practice. I think it's just speed control when you put 2 flip tricks right before something that requires perfect speed. Not fast or slow, but perfect speed. It gets really difficult.
So would you say he needed to leave the kickflip melon?
I am saying in practice, he would have to do heel flip Indy, kickflip melon, front blunt every single time because as your speed changes, the entire trick is different.
Okay, 86.24 is the highest score for Guy Curry. He's dropping in, carving over that teardrop and getting so much speed into the backside 5 tail grab.
He cannot leave anything on the table right now. He has to give it all for a chance to really solidify his spot in finals.
Well, that was a bigger lip slide. There's the varial flip Indy. He makes that look like it's nothing.
Those kickflip 5s every single time.
It's going to be interesting to see if he switches it up.
We know what Guy is capable of. I just wonder if he's going to put it out in semifinals.
Front Smith back out into the midsection.
He's going back into the deep end. This is the same run as last time. Big pump. We're looking at a 900.
Wow! There we go. 900. The seeing that in a park competition, and he did it absolutely perfect.
He is going to need
going crazy
to go get that helmet because he's going to need that tomorrow.
Well, I think he's certainly going to drop that 86.24. He is absolutely ecstatic, as is everyone here at the Spot Skate Park in Ostia.
You could see his dynamite pump coming over that spine, and I knew that, hey, he can do 900s. Is he going to put it at the end of this run right here?
But that's not the deepest deep end we've seen. To be able to get the time to spin that round shows just how good he is at that trick.
I was talking to him about it yesterday, and he said, I don't know, man, I haven't made it, but the sight picture on the way in is good. He's like, I can do it.
Well, you could see as soon as he pumped out of it, it was all or nothing, and that's what it's going to take to stay in that top 8. Boom, there you go.
And that not only is the first 900, but we're seeing the door open now. We're going to see 7s and 9s in park contests. There's no doubt about that. It's going to be a staple.
Well,
look, but the judges are in
heat number 2.
Look, I'm going to say the judges are in a tough spot here. Egoitz has better use of the park.
Yeah.
So even though he's not doing 900s, we're looking at different skill sets, but both are the best at what they do.
92.38. He's shaking his head.
He's not happy about it, but you do a lip slide in the deep end corner,
yeah.
and that's where the pain points that the judges are talking about each other. They just look for reasons to dock the score, and if you give them one, they're going to do it.
And look, he's just going to have to take that away, and he's going to have to go, right, it's the lip slide, let's take it away. And arguably, he could have chucked another trick in after the 9.
Yep, so there is a lot of room to grow for Guy, but I think he should be really happy with that score.
Okay, Victor Sormundi wasted no time getting straight in there. He's going to be trying to ride that lightning we just saw. Oh no, just missing that heel flip frontside air. He'll be ending up with that 85.50. It's going to be a nerve-wracking wait to see whether he's going to make it through.
Victor's in a tough spot. When you're looking at 3 scores in the 90s, what's going to happen is the judges have a lot of room between 85 and 90. And so since not everyone is going to be in the 90s, that 4th, 5th spot is going to get really busy.
Yeah, for sure. As we move on to Soya, Inomata was our leader at one point, and he's going to want to climb back up. 3 scores in the 90s. One of them is his, 90.16. He's going to want to improve it, ollieing into that corner pocket and pumping down hard into the deep end. Big back 5 out to backside lip slide.
And I love that backside lip slide into the shallow end, and then getting enough speed for a massive kickflip Indy over the love seat.
See him kicking out his legs there to stay in control. Alley-oop Indy, frontside nose grind out, changing it up.
That barrel flip on the small quarter pipe is just such a nice addition.
Back into the deep end.
That was either a kickflip or a varial flip Indy. I couldn't see from the angle of the camera, but that's a huge improvement from last run.
Backside air across that gap.
What is happening in this contest? And another Stalefish 7.
No way. It didn't look like he had enough speed. He landed slow and low.
I could hear the wheels slide on the way in. And look, this is an improvement from his last run. We're looking at 3 skaters that are not only in the 90s, but it looks like they have more to get.
Yeah. I mean, let's remember, some of these tricks that we're seeing halfway through a run, mid-run, and even at the end, used to be after black enders in video parts. They're now staple tricks that people are throwing in mid-run. It's insane.
It used to be you just finish your run with a hammer, but now you start your run with a hammer, you have your hammer in the middle of your run, and then your super hammer at the end.
There's like 9 hammers in the bottom of that.
It's pretty much, we're running out of filler tricks.
Yeah, we're running out of tools.
Yeah, I mean, the filler tricks are now like properly executed backsmiths, things like that, right? That's what we're talking about with Guy.
Yeah, filler tricks are now heavy tricks that you have to do very well, very far, or very high.
Yes.
I mean, I can't believe what we're seeing in semi-finals.
Heat 1 in semi-finals.
Bonkers.
The sun is still out.
Bonkers.
It's not even under the lights yet.
No. So, 95.84 will take the lead. 91.23, an improvement on that score, but staying in that third place position.
And there is room to grow on execution. If he stands up on that Stalefish 7 at the end, he's going to be giving Guy a run for his money.
Okay, I really want Tommy to compose himself, chill, and get a full run. No matter where he finishes, I want to see a full run.
Yep, just put it down, keep your feet on the board, and be proud of yourself.
So rolling in the deep end. Lovely alley-oop indie.
There's a stage in the run where you're just in, and you lose your brain and you start just skating. And I think that would be about this section in the run. You see the pump loosen up and those trucks start to turn a little more freely.
Backside tail slide. There's the Ollie 5. No, it's not worked out for Tommy, but Tommy doing so well to get through to this part of the competition. Super stoked for him, and I can't wait to see what he's got in the future.
Yeah, it just looked like he was holding his breath a little bit. Just looked a little tight and not ready to just let it loose like yesterday.
Well, you know what? I had a message from his parents yesterday. They are so proud of him, and so is everyone else.
Me too, Tommy. Great job this week. I look forward to seeing you when we get back to Southern California.
Oh, and seeing him in every semi-final from now on. So let's check out our current standings after heat number 1. And Augusto Aquillo taking a heavy hipper, not quite getting it together. You saw Tommy there. But middle of the pack, Victor Solmundi and Pedro Carvalho. Soya even might be worrying about who's to come.
Igoitsky and Soya all did NBDs in World Skate Park contests.
Yeah, and then looking forward to who's coming up in heat number 2. Are we going to have anyone getting an NBD in that mix? I really hope so.
We're going to take a look at Igoits and just what made his run so special. Yusuf Park is number 1. But considering his use of Park is so good, the fact that he had tricks that are as hard or harder than everyone else's while he uses the Park better than everyone else, that's the differentiating factor.
Yeah, but the backside tail slide, shove it in the corner. Let's not, mess around. That's a very difficult, high-risk maneuver. But that added to all of those spins and MBDs, what can't you like?
I mean, Igoits is borderline untouchable in this semifinal.
I mean, if he puts that together in the finals as well, that could win it.
I'm going to ask for his autograph.
Well, I hope you're enjoying that at home. We certainly are in the booth, and we're going to be back with men's park semi-finals soon. Don't go anywhere. We can't wait for heat number 2. Hello and welcome back to the seaside town of Ostia for the Park World Cup Rome. Well, heat number 1 is done, and that was one of the most crazy semi-final heats I have ever seen, and we've still got heat number 2 to come.
What on earth just happened in heat 1?
Well, NBDs. That would sum it all up.
3 of them, left and right. They were just throwing punch after punch. I've never seen anything like that. That was a Stalefish 7 from Soya, which is officially the first 720 ever done at a World Skate Park contest.
And that was what lit the fuse, right? And then Guy Curry coming through and bunging in the second.
That was the wrong. That was Igoits doing a 720. He also backed up Soya with his own 7, a different grab, and stood it up on the way out.
And then I got ahead of myself. Guy Curry reacted with a 900
in a park competition. This is completely unheard of.
It really is. We can't tell you just how crazy that was to see 2 NBDs, 1 done twice, and then the 900 as well. Shout out to Tony Hawk, pioneer of that trick, getting it done and laying down the carpet for everyone else to walk on.
Now we have the Heat 2 is starting, and we're going to keep our eye on Hampus Winberg just because his ability to skate so fast is unparalleled. Also, a personal favorite, guy I compete against in vert is Tate Carew.
But dark horse in the mix, Steven Pinheiro. I've seen what he's warming up with. Looks like he's stepping things up to be in with a chance to get through.
We all know what Steven Pinheiro is really capable of.
So, Danny Leon, first rider of heat number 2. He got here, and before he even got a practice run on the park, he messed his foot up in the little street course. It's not broken, but there's some severe damage to one of his feet. So he is skating with an injury, and he did well to get through.
95% of injuries happen in practice.
Well, he's got a completely different view on how to use this course. Some different lines, like this one out of the corner pocket. Whoa, overshooting that nearly.
Bank over the love seat.
Did that front blunt.
Oh, he touched his back wheels on the nose manual. Unfortunately, that was going to count as like a bail type of thing.
Yeah, it'll just be a roll along.
Poor execution.
Lovely backside tail slide off the extension into the deep end. Lip slide transfer. Fakey crook. Taking
really
it into the deep end.
Different approach to a run than everyone else.
Yeah, you're seeing a completely different set of tricks. Oh, no way. Missing the kickflip stalefish.
It looked like it was actually good, but he thought it wouldn't be, and then realized it was and didn't know what to do.
Hiker in there going, yo, we're on the screen. Everybody is out here. Anyone that's anywhere near Rome right now that loves skateboarding is down here in Ostia on the seafront to see the absolutely crazy semi-finals we're having.
This is a contest you should travel to. We're looking at 3 skaters in the 90s from Heat 1. This is an unprecedented situation where we're looking at 4 or 5 of Heat 2 guys qualifying at most.
Yeah, it's literally one of the weirdest situations we've been in at this stage of the competition.
This is not something that Heat 2 is used to dealing with.
So take Karoo, rolling to that frontside grind to start things off. I like that entry into the bowl. That one feels good.
Big backside nose grind over the love seat, straight into a huge tail grab 540 coming from Tate's big vert background.
It looks like it's actually difficult for the board to come away from his feet, which is saying something.
That front Smith all the way around the corner. The craziest part to me is you have to go that far for his line to work.
Yeah, to get that lovely crossbone over the teardrop. Alley-oop frontside air down into the deep end.
Adjusting his front foot straight into a kickflip.
Bringing it back round to the love seat, the bridge, front blunt. Whoa!
His board got a little funny
away
on his feet coming out of that. I'm surprised he even stood on that. That looked like he lost it coming out of the front blunt.
Mitchie, being a fierce competitor yourself, you've been out there on the platform. After seeing what's happened in heat number 1, what's going through your mind as you're waiting to drop in?
Usually, you ignore everyone and just do what you came here to do.
You can't ignore that.
But you cannot ignore what just happened in Heat 1. That is the Heat 2 has to pay attention to that. Because now, you're not qualifying 6 or 7 of you guys like normally happens. You're only qualifying 5, maybe 4. So now you're trying to win your heat, but get 3rd. It's a weird situation.
So Luis Mariano is on the bubble for that top 30 rider. He's in there, but he wants to get into that top 6 in Brazil to be pre-registered through 2 competitions. Taking a sprint onto his board, ollieing into that bank, big Smith grind tail slide.
He's found the balance between being calm and also strong. Sometimes when you're too calm, you get lazy accidentally, but he's found his middle ground.
Loving that kickflip frontside air into the deep end, straight into that grind off into the extension. And that kickflip Indy down into the bank is so gnarly.
I used to think that he put too many flip tricks in his runs because he fell a lot early in his career. But he's kept it up, and now he's just going flip, 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 always, all the way through.
Oh, no, you cursed him on that one.
That was the announcer jinx.
Yeah, for sure.
But I have full faith in Luis Mariano to come finish that run out. But it's still going to be a difficult situation considering the 3 90s from Heat 1.
And having so much time off the board, he's been watching from the sidelines for so long, slowly repairing his body.
He's had 16 months of rest from 2 surgeries, one on his knee and one on his shoulder, and he's now just back, and it seems like he really has his confidence back.
Yep, 75.81 with a fall as we take it over to Steven Pinheiro. How much do you think, because of heat number 1 being so powerful, have people had to change up what they're going to do? They may be doing their finals run.
Steven Pinero is in a difficult situation because his run was close to being good enough without those 390s. So now he's in a very tough spot where he's going to have to stretch himself a little thin to have a chance.
So not making that kickflip Indy down into the deep end. Clock stops as soon as you fall, but you do have 3:45-second runs. Best run counts. And I'm excited to see Steven get through to the mid part of his run where he's changing things up a bit on the spine, and he's the only person doing that trick. I saw it in warm-up. He's not made it yet, and I'm excited to see what he does.
He's got a few tricks up his sleeve.
Yeah. Okay, Yuro Nagahara waiting to drop in, run number 1 of 3. Rolling in backside, grinding in, Livingston Skate Park style.
He's going so fast. I don't know why he found so much speed through that little carve off of the love seat. Huge kickflip Indy, that board floating around in his hand in the air. It shows how relaxed he is.
He picked up something off the flat bottom there out of that 540. Frontside ollie 1 foot. I love that one. Proper Rune Glifberg style.
A couple of times it is getting a little backseat on the way out of those smaller transitions.
Loving that line. Out of the corner, up to tail slide. Throwing away the backside 360. Something looked like it was off.
Got a little bit off axis with that backside 360. It almost looked like it was supposed to be a 540 to fakie, but it obviously wasn't, but it came off like it was gonna be.
Something I was saying yesterday, someone who's worked so hard is Euro, and he really, really deserves to podium. He's worked so hard, he's consistently getting through to finals and semi-finals. He really does deserve to get on that podium.
Oh yeah, and he'll be there next run. I think he'll put that down. He just looks too comfortable.
Yeah, he'll compose himself for sure. Hampus Wimberg.
This is not Hampus.
No. He's our next rider up. That's Luigi. There's Hampus. Had a sit down with Hampus earlier. Such a positive guy. Just wants to enjoy skateboarding and spread the love for skateboarding around. And part of that Scandinavian contingency. And starting off with a nose grab 5.
Nose grab 5 to start your run. Hampus can go faster than anyone.
And then straight in, back-to-back 540s.
See, that's the big risk of, you have to rest a lot between runs and contests. And when you go as fast as Hampus, you're not getting that constant feel for the bowl. And going that fast is like 3 times as hard.
Yeah. 10.33 coming through. Currently 13th. I mean, anyone that's not scoring over mid-80... 85s is not going through.
That 85 mark is just such a good aiming point.
Okay, back to Brazil and Luigi Cini. You've competed against this guy. What's that like?
Man, competing against Luigi is crazy because you know that he does the highest risk tricks so consistently, and he'll just keep doing them late in his run. You never know what to expect from him.
Yeah, and that's really the takeaway from that. You don't know what he's going to do. And he's got an answer to everyone else's run, right?
And his skill set is so deep. I've seen him try kickflip 900s.
I mean, that is crazy. Huge 540 in the deep end, coming way out of picture. Stalefish and slapping the tail, showing full control. He knows where he is at all times,
He spends a lot of time on his skateboard, so he has feel for small transitions. And he skates vert a lot, so he has feel for the big ones too.
Yeah, and he had that World Cup win back in 2023, so he knows what it takes. Whoa, how did he get that back on his foot?
Okay, when your board gets stuck on top of your foot after a kickflip Indy, right? That takes so much patience to get unstuck. Wrap the board around the bottom of your foot and then stand on it.
You've got to just trust it and be like, it's okay, it's not over, let's just wait. Get the foot out, get it back on.
You don't have enough time to be like, let me check if this is good or bad. You just have to get it unstuck and throw it down.
High fives from Tate there.
See, and this is Luigi's competition experience coming up, because now he's in a really good position to qualify, even though that's not going to be a top 3 run. Now he's starting to ask questions of his competitors in his heat, like, hey, are you guys ready?
But with Luigi being, look at that. That was proper Bob Burnquist style right there.
That's a good point. That was kind of Bob-esque.
It really was. With Luigi being so smooth, like the kickflip stalefish over the teardrop every time, you kind of do get lulled into a false sense of security that he's not as good as he is.
It's crazy
he makes
to see.
it look that easy.
It is so difficult to do all those flip tricks. And honestly, no matter what Luigi's score is right now, we're going to look at him upgrading his 540s and upgrading his flip tricks.
So 85.14, he definitely needs to improve on that, like you say.
He definitely wants to be in that 4th place position here. I don't think he's safe at all currently.
So Victor still in the middle of that pack as we take it over to hometown hero, skating his local park, Alessandro Mazzara dropping in for run number 1. There's the local line, 5-0 on the barrier. Everything within those barriers is on the table.
Even the barrier itself. He said he comes and skates here once a week all year long.
Well, that definitely shows with the local lines right there. Big 5, backsmith out into the midsection.
Huge McTwist on the quarter. It's just, it never gets old.
The way he carves those corners, he knows exactly where the speed is.
That's the Italian MotoGP turn.
Yeah, it really is.
That's Valentino Rossi of him.
He just missed, arguably, one of the most simple tricks he's going to do in this run.
I think that was a mental error, yeah.
So it shows just how important it is to land exactly where you want to get that line, right?
You're in semifinals, you hear the crowd, you see what's done before you, and it's just easy to forget exactly where your front foot is for a quarter of a second.
Look at that. That is way, way out there. Held on to it for a good amount of time as well.
All about what you focus on. And you remember the Spanish coach saying, focus.
Yeah.
And you look at Goitz, his focus was perfect.
Oh, yeah, that certainly is working as we take it back to the top of the heat. Danny Leon yet to get that full run. We'll get that score in for Alessandro first. 71.45. I mean, that's heavy with so little of his run complete.
Yeah, he has a lot of room left at the end. I wish he got that down because he does have some questions. Does he do his hardest run or his second hardest run?
I think everyone's got to do their second hardest run.
I think second hardest. I think having the patience and the humility to do your second hardest, take your 5th place, go do it tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, Danny Leon took a bit of a wallop on that first run.
But we're not going to know which foot is hurt based on his skating, that's for sure.
Oh, you could barely notice it. It's only when he walks away from landing pretty hard. So air out into that section. Front blunt on that whippy quarter. Not touching this time on the nose manual roll.
Way more forward on that one than the last time.
Dangerous into that bank.
Back tail ollie out into the shallow end.
Lip slide transfer, fakey front side grind, manual rolling over the teardrop. So many different tricks than anyone else. Alley-oop backside nose grind.
Alley-oop backside nose grind is probably one of the funnest transition tricks you can do.
That trick, I've seen Danny turn up at the session and do that first run.
He did
that
it
is one of his tricks.
3 times yesterday, and he's bailed it twice today.
Yeah.
It's one of those that maybe it's just either it's working or it's not. And then once the doubt creeps in, it's so difficult.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that mental game. Coming back from not making things and having seen what's happened. You said it earlier, when you know your run's good, but it's not quite good enough, that will hang in your brain, right?
You just have to forget about everything and really, it sounds funny, but just accept where you're at and just focus.
So looking at a very focused Take Karoo as he drops in. Frontside grind into the deep end. Lovely backside nose grind. He was so chilled on that.
Tate's with that big tail grab backside 5. I see him do that so high over at Tony's back in Southern California.
Whoa!
That was special. That one was especially stood up.
That's not fair how good that was.
No, that might be the best frontside Smith in this entire contest.
Kickflip Indy, out of the alley-oop, frontside air to the deep end.
And he saved that kickflip Indy really fast.
No way. I saw him do it twice, sneaking a run in between for the front side, blunt side, but it's not happening.
Look, he squatted going into the deep end, did his kickflip indie lower than he meant to. That is his setup to get to the front one. You're going back into the wind for the front one. You need excess speed. You can't be stretching yourself out for it. So I think if he cleans up his setup trick into the kickflip indie, then he'll get over that front one.
So, Luis Mariano, 75.81 on the board. Really needs to get that full run down. Ollieing into the bank, giving it a little touch on the way through.
I saw the hand touch on the drop it.
Into the tail slide. That kickflip frontside air is really good.
To frontside feeble, hop into the small section.
Out onto the platform quarter, front one.
That quick kickflip.
No way.
That's what you were talking about not having as much time.
If you're not getting the pop that you want, it's not going to happen.
He barely missed the grab, and on a big vert wall, there's plenty of time to grab it and put it under, but he just didn't have that full commitment there.
But Luis has got more on the plate than just getting through to finals. He wants to get into that top 6 allocation per country and be pre-registered through to following competitions.
Right now, even though he's in the top 30, he is 7th place amongst Brazilians.
Yeah.
So he was nominated by the federation to come to this. He wasn't pre-registered.
Well, that shows that when you've got a heavy stack of riders in your country, there's internal battles that go on. As we take it over to Steven Pinheiro. Didn't make that first run, and he's looking hyped as ever as he jumps in. Straight into the backside lip slide to start things off.
Now Steven is looking comfortable and like he's having some fun.
Yeah, I mean, Steven's kind of the guy that's like, once you get that first run out of the way, he comes through. Wow! Frontside nose grind. Grabbing it on the way in.
Steven is a true skater. Some of these guys are true competitors. Steven is a true skater. It is so much fun to skate with and hang out with.
That
Back 3 into the deep end. Straight into a cab back disaster.
I'm going to say it, that Indy 360 down into the deep end is so naughty. And it's you're landing completely blind. And I think the judges will reward that heavily if he can get to the end of that run.
An alley-oop backside 360 to fakie compared to a regular 360 fakie. You can't even really compare them. They're completely different tricks, and the judges know that.
You could see there he was just saying with his hand, couldn't get hold of it.
Yeah, it looked just a little quick off the takeoff. Looked like maybe a bit more poise and just deal with the fear, but take it slower.
And that's going to be coming down to run number 3 for Steven. Waiting for that score to come through. It's going to be so hard when it comes down to that third and final run. It always is, but when you've seen what's gone on in heat number 1 already. Yeah, there you go, 74.36. Great score with a full.
Yeah, that's crazy to see almost a 75 falling on their last trick.
Okay, back to Euro Nagahara. I really want to see Euro put down that full run and get through. Riding in backside. Look at the speed. Huge backside ollie. That was the magic carpet ride right there.
Definitely on that level of speed as Hampus. Landing so strong.
Yeah.
Standing up tall, even though he's landing low.
Well, that shows that full control. He knows exactly where he is. Not getting the frontside ollie 1 foot this time. Wow, okay. Kickflip body rear. Oh, hanging on to the backside nose grind, popping it down. He still has control and managing to get the ollie out to tail slide, but not getting the Indy 3.
Great save, and then ollieing over the volcano, but floating it like crazy.
Caballerial backside disaster. And the frontside blunt in the deep end. It's not what he wanted, but it is a full run.
Look, I think that is exactly what he should have done. I think that's a wonderful run and puts him in a great position where now he has a real chance to make finals, which takes the weight off your shoulders.
For sure. Excited to see him get that full run that he wants. Pedro showing his respect right there. Looking like a proper rock star in the stands. So our bubble is where Steven Pinheiro is, even though he hasn't made a full run. 74.36 is 8th place. We're only taking our top 8 through. See Shani in the crowd there. It's all the legends out here for our park semi-finals. Euro jumping into 4th position, 88.35 with the full run. It's not his chosen full run though, right?
But that is, look how perfect that score is. Now he's in 4th, and now he's pretty much not going to get knocked out.
But that
the amount you'd have to change to get into 3rd is too risky. Hampus in.
Steven Pinheiro outside of our finals so far. Look at that nose grab, 5. That is such a good judo. That was so rad.
You can hear it from the booth, how much speed he has and how hard he's snapping his tail on these takeoffs.
He's got to be careful. A judo like that is going to dislocate your hip, surely.
And he's got to be careful because I think he's lighting the park on fire.
So back down into the deep end. Madonna
Holy
spanking that tail on the way in. Alley-oop lean melon. This is looking great so far. 5 seconds on the board. Oh, there you go. You don't get many of those to the pound. You're staring at me speechless right now, Mitchie.
I've never seen anything like that.
I saw him do it once yesterday.
Hard flip, body barrel, Indy to nose grab, tail, body jog. It was a body jog.
Yeah,
that was not a tail smack. I thought he was going to go to disaster. And then instead he aims his back foot for the coping instead of the middle of your board.
So look at that. Full extension. That is a thing of beauty right there. I want to see a still photo of that. I'm just going to print it out and put it on my wall.
Look at his face on the Madonna to tail.
And then look at this. So much going on.
And so much weight on the tail on the coping. That's what takes all the commitment, is fully standing on it legitimately.
Now, interesting thing, up against what else we've seen, how is that going to sit with the judges?
Look, I think all these guys are fighting for 4th place right now. I just can't believe what we saw from Soyagi and Igoitz.
So eyes locked on the board. Hampus waiting for that score to come through. 85.68 sees him in 6th place. See a little shake of the head there. He's not too happy with that.
Look, but think about it. If we have a normal heat 1, he's sitting in 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, for sure.
So so that's when he's shaking his head. He's like, he's just not used to being in 6th place after something like that.
Okay, Luigi Cini. He needs to change his run up a little bit.
Yeah, I want to see a kickflip 5 from Luigi.
I mean, that's where we're at right now. Kickflip 5s need to be done at this stage. Whoa! Started off completely differently.
Huge kickflip melon in the deep end.
Indy nose bone slapping that tail on the way in. It's a wonder he doesn't snap his tail completely off.
Big backside 5, super clean. He's just getting to the end of his run safely.
Looking so comfortable on his board.
He
Big front feeble. That was so fast.
And then a kickflip stalefish to tail smack over the volcano. That means you're showing so much control.
Up to backside tail slide, frontside lip slide, Reva. And he's like, yo, what do you reckon of that, people?
This will be a good gauge of where that ends up. But if you look at what Hampus just did, and I mean, you also look at Victor, this is a tough spot for Luigi.
Well, let's just jump onto the scoreboard. Luigi's currently got the 85.14. Just above him, Victor Sulmundi, 85.50. Hampus, you know, right in between, Pedro, who's got the 85.68. It's so close at the moment down there. But I think we're going to get a great score coming through. That front feeble was everything to me there.
Standing up on the back tail, where you put all your weight on your back foot as you land on the deep end coping, it's a pleasure to watch.
I mean, that's what Luigi's so good at. His coping game is just as good as his air and spin game.
Yep. That's how he has won a World Skate Park contest before.
So all smiles as we wait for that score to come through. 90.1. That's 4 90s on the board so far. Yuro Nagahara now in 5th place, 88.35. Pedro, Hampus, and Victor are now getting nervous.
Yeah. Victor is definitely watching Alessandro right now. And Alessandro actually looks more comfortable going into the second run than he did his first.
I mean, he knows this park so well, skating here once a week, like you said. If anyone can do it, it's Alessandro Mazzara standing up on that frontside grind on the barrier to start things off. No one else hitting that.
I love how active he is with his back foot when he's setting up in the flat bottom.
Alley-oop Indy, that frontside grind through to the deep end. So important to keep that speed.
That was
for the
a
big
7 or 8 foot high Nick twist.
Dipping down on that low carve, and
Great
then the backside one
control.
here, look. Boom. Out to front lip. Right, it's past where he got to from run number 1.
Yep, now he's a very difficult end of his run with this kickflip. And then a half cab.
Whoa.
Nice. Okay, and
nose bone in the Indy 5, frontside ollie.
it was a really
Yes.
good save on that Indy 5. He was a little bit under-rotated as he took off, but you can see him stretch his head around, pick his back foot up, and kind of just try to speed up that spin in the middle of it.
I mean, that shows full control to be able to speed up your spin on command because it's not quite gone run. Getting
Getting good at tricks doesn't always mean that you are doing it perfect. It means you can make the bad ones.
Okay, he's currently in 12th. I think that's just about to change. At the moment, we've got Luis Mariano, Stephen Pinheiro, Tate Carew, and Alessandro Mazzara outside of that top 8 to go through to tomorrow's final.
Now this bubble spot is really, Hampus and Pedro are going to be sweating right now.
Yeah, Victor's going to do well to stay in the mix. He can do it, and I would love to see him do it. But he's got to throw everything, including the kitchen sink, into there.
This run yesterday from Alessandro scored something similar to Soya, but Alessandro's execution wasn't quite as strong in today's run.
Okay, we're
Which
adding
explains-
another 90 on the board.
Which explains it's a less than a point difference, but if Alessandro's execution goes up, I believe he can actually take that 3rd spot.
Yeah, and I think Luigi's going to take something away from that and go, okay, they've put that score to rank just above me. I need to make a change.
Yep. Luigi is looking at a trick change, while Alessandro might be looking at an execution improvement.
Okay, back round to Danny Leon, 3rd and final runs. He's all smiles out there on the platform.
Between runs, Danny has been putting down the craziest spine tricks I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm really excited because at this point for Danny, he's just going to have fun, right?
He's not going to make finals with his classic run as it is right now. He needs to try something incredibly difficult, and I hope he does it on the spine.
Big tuck knee, front blunt on the platform quarter, out to the nose manual roll, way better than we've seen so far.
Yeah, dropping that front foot, getting ready for a body jar.
Backside tail slide off the extension into the midsection, front lip transfer. He was way balanced on there.
He's the only one with a manual in his run. He has 2 of them.
Yep. And he backside nose grind, sliding that back through. Whoa, no way! It didn't flip, and he just flipped it with his hands and jumped back on it. Finger flip lean disaster. He's having so much fun out there.
Did he just punch his stale fish around so it flipped?
I mean, he certainly taught me a lesson.
You can sometimes you palm the bottom of your board and you just don't get your thumb around the grab. But I've never seen someone do that and land it before. So I'm really curious to see how that grab really happened on the Stalefish.
Well, we've mentioned it before, that whole competition make. Things that you would never, ever go anywhere near in a normal session. But when it comes down to the competition, it's like, now I'm throwing it down, I'm putting my feet on it, no matter what.
100% commitment from Danny Leon.
So backside tail slide out from the deep end over the hip. Here's that frontside lip slide transfer over the spine.
Frontside lip slide, ... transfer.
And hold.
Yeah.
But here we go.
Here's this grab.
Oh, he just
He never grabbed it! He grabbed the wrong rail and then whiffed.
Yeah, just gave it a little touch. And the board was like, okay, you win. I'll let you do it this time.
I
I think he just watched that himself and was like, really? That is crazy.
That's just called a frontside flip.
Yeah, frontside flip with a fingernail touch.
That's ridiculous.
82.56 sees Danny on that 10th place position. So stoked.
You know what? He's actually very close to that bubble spot. You know, one trick addition and maybe some execution. He's sort of in finals.
Okay, it's all on the line right now for USA Skateboarding. Tate Carew.
Tate is very familiar with these situations, being last run, ready to make finals. And I've seen him come through more times than not.
See that crouch on that carve then. Looking like he means business, as always.
I like how Tate is both sketchy and very clean at the same time.
Whoa, that was like 3 blocks longer than we've seen so far.
Really
lifting it up into the 5 all the way out.
Finding his groove on those Smith grinds.
No! Missing the alley-oop frontside air. Now that means, you can see it there, Hampus Winberg is on the bubble. Everyone who doesn't make a run right now means that he's a step closer to making it through.
Tate really wanted that one.
And again, similar than we've seen last time, 85 and change. Well, to get through, that's a high score.
Right now, we have 4 in from Heat 2 in the finals, which was our original prediction.
Yeah.
Possibly 5. But the thing is, if one more person replaces that 4th place slot, that knocks out someone from this heat, not from last heat.
Yeah, exactly
so
that.
We are looking at a 4-man final from Heat 2.
It's almost, well, it is the opposite of what we usually see.
Yes.
You see people in heat number 1 slowly getting knocked out through.
Yes.
Okay. Here it is. Final chance. Luis Mariano really wants to get through into that top 8. Currently in 11th position.
And he's got to pull out all the stops here.
Sprinkling a little 1 foot on that ollie in.
Nice. Ollie in, 1 foot. Front Smith to tail slide, kick flip. Just getting in the groove right away.
Yeah, back-to-back tricks. So important. Taking it out onto that platform quarter.
And here's the tight kickflip Indy. Not going to make the same mistake twice.
Slid a little bit on the way in, but very, very solid
Right
landing.
into a 540.
Up to backside lip slide.
He needs to breathe right now and get some strength in his back leg.
Coming down to that last 10 seconds.
Heel flip, that's what got him in run 1. He is well in business now. Nice. And one more trick to finish it off. It's in time.
Frontside grind 270. Is that going to be enough?
I think so. I think he's putting Hampus on the spot right now.
You can see that clap going there, but he was very, very nervous in the face.
He was clapping with his body, but it didn't look like he wanted to be clapping.
But he's still got another run.
Yep.
You know, he's going to be watching what's going on, and then he's going to be like, right, I'm going to light a fire under my skateboard, and I'm going to send everything at it. Luis, super hyped.
Hampus has the option that a lot of people don't have. He goes, okay, do I add a trick or do I just go faster?
Yeah, exactly. Here it is, ollie 1 foot to start things off.
And I thought this was very smart of Luis, doing that 1 foot and then a front Smith tail slide into a kickflip. Because most of the time it takes 20 seconds to get into the rhythm of your run. But he was in after 2 tricks because he was moving his board so much.
Yeah, and it's a change from run number 1.
That is also a good point. You can kind of get out of the groove a little bit that you're stuck in.
The frontside grind, 270, the revert out.
And that was all for him. That reaction in the flat bottom is just so nice to see. You can see him just pure smiles. He looks so proud of himself.
Yeah, he should be as well.
I am so happy to see that. I know he's had such a rough last 2 years with all those surgeries.
This could be a big jump up, and it is. He's jumped up into 7th place, and that means his fellow countryman Pedro is on that bubble spot and in 8th position.
And now we have Steven Pinheiro and Hampus Winberg.
This is tense. This is really tense, mate.
Look, this is not a situation you're used to being in as a competitor. These are scores that usually get you on the podium in finals, and you're trying to do that to get 8th place to be in the bubble.
Okay, hyped as ever.
This is where being mentally strong is important. Bigger than nerves, you have to be mentally strong to see where this is at and know exactly what to do.
Yeah, Puerto Rico's Steven Pinheiro coming in, 3rd and final run, big backside lip slide to start it off.
I think you make the same run that you just tried last time for Steven and put the pressure on Hampus.
Landing a little bit dodgy on that one.
Did he miss a trick on the hip on the way out?
Yeah, I believe so. So he's going to need to probably put a little bit of extra into the end part of this run.
Now I want to see him replace that final trick, that back 3.
Whoa, there it is!
God.
He's got it done! Wow, this could be what Steven Pinheiro needs to get through. Indy 360 into the deep end.
He just wants to finish this run now.
He needs to stay on.
It looked like it got a little bit squirrely. I'm so curious to how this goes.
Oh, he's got it done! He is hyped! Wow! Steven Pinheiro coming through in that 3rd and final run. It is going to be a nervous wait for Pedro Carvalho.
That's so interesting.
Wait and see where Steven ends up in this competition
as
of
your
our
trick
semi-finals.
difficulty goes up, sometimes execution in Yusa Park goes down a little bit. But tricks reign supreme. So I think the judges are really going to have a tough question right here. Where exactly do we put Steven?
Well, no one is doing an alley-oop frontside air over the spine hip to the other side of the spine, let alone throwing in a heel flip as well.
I am probably biased because I love Steven so much, but I want to see that be a top 8 run.
Yeah, I believe it should be.
Well, he had a regular 50-50. He
Yeah,
had two regular
and the rock
50-50s, a rock fakie, and he missed a trick. So that's almost 4 tricks.
Yeah, I feel like
that were replaced.
Yeah, but that
But
and done that well.
A heel flip frontside 360 over the spine.
That certainly spices things up.
That might as well be a 720. Like, that's insane. All right, I'm anxiously waiting on this score.
Now.
They put it on Pedro. That's
so
rude.
gnarly up on the big screen. 83.96, and that means that Steven does not go through, and I think it was what you said.
Look, he had 5 tricks that didn't go as planned in one run. He did the fakey rock instead of the trick that he did in the second run. He had 2 50-50s. He missed a trick entirely, but I think that was still the right choice. He went about it the right way.
Yeah, and I think in the judges' booth, it might have been like, calm down, everyone, that was ridiculous, but let's remember what happened.
Execution is just such a big deal.
Okay, currently in 6th place. He's going through, but he wants to improve on that score, get more time on the park course. Yuro Nagahara, big backside ollie to start things off. Whoa, that was way up there, bigger than we've seen him go so far.
Oh, yeah, but he knows that he is one of the few riders in the field that is safe right now.
I'm going to need a lie down after this, mate.
I am going to rest my eyes and just replay this entire contest in my brain.
I don't think I'm going to be able to. It's going to give me a heart attack replaying this.
So, Hampus is the only rider left that is not safe in finals.
But look at those scores between him and Pedro Carvalho.
Sorry, yep.
Pedro is on an 85.85, but Hampus is on an 85.68. There is barely any score between the two of them. All he needs is an 85.86, and he will be going through to the finals.
That could be as simple as executing one trick a little better. And the judges are so good. I know Renton Miller is up there and has everything, every single trick in this contest listed and how well it was done.
So Hampus up on top of that flat bank. It's quite on the line right now for Hampus. Just a few hundredths of a point will see him get through.
You can't leave this up to the judges. You have to make it so obvious that you deserve to be in finals that they just throw you up somewhere in the middle of all the scores.
And Pedro has got a very, very nail-biting weight as we see Hampus go through with his third and final run.
I think Pedro and the judges are watching this contest the most intently right now.
I mean, the whole of Team Brazil are going to be wanting him to get through. Okay,
Big,
starting it off.
Hard snapped nose grab backside 5.
Melon 5, back-to-back 5s. In stereo.
Kickflip in, he kind of reached for it, brought it back under him.
Slapping that back truck on the coping. Whoa, did he get the back truck up?
Lip slide, I don't think so, but it still looked sick.
Front lip transfer, getting loads of speed on the way out of that front side grind. Whoa, that looked like it was almost over the platform.
Lean air. This is where a big upgrade can come.
Oh, no way! Just getting away from him. Maybe the pressure was too much. Looked like he got caught up on the pull coping a little bit there. And that will see Pedro Carvalho going through to finals by 100th of a point nearly.
What a nail-biting second.
So disappointed to not see Hampus going through. I mean, he really had what it takes to get through, but that's skateboarding.
I mean, you look at Hampus, Victor, Steven Pinero, Danny Leon, Tate Carew, all missing finals.
Yeah, that's big.
And these are made runs that are not making it.
And we've got our final 2 skaters to go.
This
2
is
more 45-second runs.
basically a victory lap.
Yeah.
Luigi's got this look on his face. I think he's going to put tray flip still fish over the volcano.
Yeah, we know he's got that trick on demand. See that foot position coming through?
Good eye. That means his board is going to be flipping.
Whoa, he had a bit of time in the air there, but it didn't quite come round. He's taking a sit down out of that one.
I can't believe he goes for that after he makes finals. You have finals tomorrow.
Yeah, arguably he could have dropped in and just had a cruise around and tried something different. See how it feels. But I'm sure we are in for something special from Luigi in our finals.
We're very close to seeing to a world where you need a 90 or better to make finals.
Yeah. I mean, look at that stack of 90s up there. All the way to 5th place. Last athlete to drop in. Currently on a 90.81. Local lad, Alessandro Mazzara. Looked like he almost ground down the side of that quarter pipe there.
He did have it a little bit awkward of a line.
Big alley-oop to start things off, powering down that frontside grind into the deep.
He's just fully heated up doing this for the crowd. Full speed ahead. This is a great opportunity to practice your finals run, kind of risk-free in a similar weather in lighting that we'll see tomorrow.
Frontside Smith, there's the front tail off the extension. Frontside grind transfer. Alley-oop, Indy 3. Half cabin round. Into the deep end. Indy 5.
No, that was
way.
A definite upgrade. Coming out of that alley-oop 360 to fake, he had so much weight on his back foot that his front trucks actually floated in the air briefly, which at home you might not notice, but that is the most dangerous thing that can happen on that trick, where you're too much on your lead side and your back trucks in this situation float, and now you have no control. You're basically driving your car in reverse at full speed.
So Alessandro not making that third and final run, but it's all good. He's in that 4th place position with a 90.81. Look at all those 90s up there.
Alessandro bringing a Red Bull at 8:30 at night.
Pedro doing very well to get through with the 85.85. We've seen an increase of that score to get through to finals. That's really putting the pressure on as we take it through to our next stage of the competition.
That was your line.
Euro getting in there. I'm hyped. I want to see Euro on that podium.
Yeah, me too. And I think he has room to improve, but going from 88 to 90 plus is so hard.
But our top three, Sawyer Inamata, 91.23. Guy Curry, 92.38. And out in the lead, the young lad, Igoitz, is in there with a 95.83. All three of those put NBDs down.
And it's no coincidence. They were absolutely going ham.
And that was from our first heat. And Augusto Akio having a bit of a shocker, taking a slam in run number one. And then Tate Carew down there in 13th place. Stephen Pinero put on a great performance, getting some crazy stuff done, but not making the cut. This is really shaping up to be something special for tomorrow's final.
I am very much looking forward to tomorrow's final. I'll be here early, sitting in my chair, waiting for this thing to start.
And you can see Pedro Carvalho very, very stoked to be getting through in that 8th place position. What a competition. Let's check out our replays of our 3rd, 2nd, and 1st.
And watch these replays, but keep in mind that they weren't competing against Heat 2. When Heat 2 and Heat 1 get mixed together, this is going to take Luigi and motivate him. This is going to take all the guys who were in that lower 90s and bring it up to an Egoitz level.
For sure, and I can't wait to see what Sawyer's got for us. There you go, that's where it started. Fakey 7, Stale Fish. And then Guy Curry getting that 2nd place with this performance. And it came down to execution and an NBD.
And here's the NBD that we're talking about. Is after he goes over this spine, you see a pump that is so hard, straight into a 900.
Sending that helmet way out into the stratosphere.
That helmet.
That went into someone's flat window just across the road. And then Igoitz coming through in that 1st place position with a great performance.
Egoitz's use of park and just how many tricks he fit into his run was the difference maker.
But just how spicy those tricks were was what saw him through. There's that Fakey 7, Weddle. Absolutely stoked, and he needs to keep up that power as we go through to our finals tomorrow. Heavy Brazilian contingent in the mix.
Egoitz can think quickly on his feet.
He really can, and that has been shown with that run. This is what our men's final is looking like for tomorrow. Igoitz will be riding last. He'll get to see what everyone else does, having been the 1st place qualifier through. Pedro Carvalho, you saw him earlier, really stoked to get in the mix, as is Luis Mariano. Luigi Cini, the other Brazilian in the mix, but Alessandro, local guy, and Sawyer Inamata, first time getting through to this stage of the competition. He is on fire.
We're looking at a Brazil, Japanese, and Italian, and Spain final.
It's going to be so, so heavy. And I cannot believe what we saw in heat number 1 from this competition.
I'm still blown away.
It has been absolutely fabulous out here in Ostia. We will be back tomorrow. We'll be kicking it off at 6 p.m. with our men's and women's final. We hope to see you then, and we will be also introducing our golden run. Our top 5 will get an extra bite at the cherry to sprinkle something on our finals. We will see you then. We can't wait. We'll see you at 6 p.m.